Hello friends, and a happy holidays to all of you. No matter what your persuasion is, most people have some sort of celebration that they enjoy at the end of the year, be it Christmas, Yuletide, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, what have you. But I think, for the most part, that not so much in a matter of not wanting to offend anybody, but to try to reach everybody where they are. I just want to offer my most sincere wishes that your holidays are happy, peaceful, and you get everything you deserve. Hopefully that's a good thing. But at any rate, I kind of have a little bit of a tradition here at the Lair of OmnusI to get in front of my magic fireplace and do something to entertain, to inspire, and the like. And this year I thought, since I have so many new friends, all the friends from my Gooey Cube family, some of my friends from Benchley who haven't necessarily seen my shtick, I thought that I would do a couple of the classics and hopefully entertain you and get into the festive spirit. Now this that I'm going to recite for you first is a parody poem that I wrote. It's called "'Twas the Gaming Night Before Christmas," and I'm sure you can guess where the inspiration comes from. It actually stems from a tradition that I've had for a long time in gaming. You see, I was a poor college student when I played some of my best games back in the day. Made a lot of great friends, many of whom I'm still friends with today, and I was poor. I was a poor college kid. My parents didn't give me a great deal of money to fall back on, and I'm still paying debt, but it was a great time, and I wanted to get in on the festivities. So for things like Christmas, birthdays, things like that, I always gave back to my players by giving them things in character in the game that they could enjoy as their birthday and Christmas presents. The delivery mechanism that I used for Christmas eventually boiled down to an interlude in their game, played out as close as we could to Christmas, because we never played on Christmas, really. But the idea was that all of a sudden, time stops, the players hear a familiar jingling sound, and then the chaos happens. So I thought that I would just recite my poem and, kind of relate to you the experience a little bit through poetry. So, "'Twas the Gaming Night Before Christmas," also known as The Legend of Santa Work, by me. So, the reading. "'Twas the Gaming Night Before Christmas," also known as The Legend of Santa Work, by me. "'Twas the gaming night before Christmas, and in the gaming room, the players were yakking in the dungeon like gloom. The players reclined in their nice, comfy chairs, wondering what treasures soon would be theirs. In just a few moments, the DM appeared, with his face set in a grin and thoughts that were weird. The DM picked up his dice and slung them with conviction. The players grew fearful. What was their Christmas mission? The dungeon was still full with monsters and slime, so they scarcely realized what was coming this time. When what to their characters' ears should resound but a fat orc in a sleigh pulled by 8 tiny hellhounds. He leaped out of the sleigh, as smooth as pulled pork. They were being confronted by mighty Santa Orc. The players barked out their orders, their tactics rehearsed. They had no way of knowing this would only make things worse. The fighter charged forward, the mage chanted spells, the cleric chanted a prayer to send this new foe to hell. With a wave of pure magic and a sadistic cackle, the orc knocked the characters down like doomed cattle. He stood there above them. They saw him in good light. They wished that they hadn't. He was quite a sight. His muscles were rock hard. He had magic tattoos. His face looked like something you'd wipe off of your shoes. He reached for his bag, slung over his back, dropped it down on the thief's gut, then prepared to unpack. For the fighter, a new sword, old blood also included. For the priest, a new mantle that looked freshly looted. For the wizard, a power ring. No mind the severed finger. For the thief, some new poisons with no taste left to linger. Then he rummaged through their things, and he drank all their ale. All the elf's wine too then said, "Oi, I got's the bail." Then he wobbled to his sleigh and looked for the reins. If not for the booze in him, on the seat they were plain. As the characters groaned in wonder and started to rise, Santa Orc cracked the reins against his strong thighs. On whatsits, on whatnot, on tingamajigger, on... I'll just shut up now, my hangover will just get bigger. Off they all flew then, through several dungeon walls, causing slightly less damage than the party's bar brawls. The players shook their heads, faces twisted in shock. They soon pulled out their pencils and began taking stock. The DM grinned widely and called it a night, handed out the last XPs, earned from many a fight. So you who are listening, hear me now and prepare. Santa Orc could be coming, so you better beware. So, a fun little thing I've done, and repeated that quite a few times. Just a bit of fun, but in truth, again, it's a pretty good delivery system when all of a sudden the characters can't move, or if they try to attack Santa Orc, he just beats them down and then gives them things that are clearly stolen or pillaged from others, which, they've kind of accepted as kind of the norm, but it's still fun to do. It is a holiday tradition, and I know a lot of gaming groups have their own holiday traditions. We like to have a potluck around that time, so everybody gets a chance to shine at what they do, and some people just bring chips or plates. That's how it goes with potlucks. But we do have fun. There is an element, but it's really hard in the middle of a campaign that's otherwise serious, or otherwise, something that it doesn't seem like there's a lot of room for frivolity in it. It can be tough to shoehorn in a little bit of holiday levity. That's why I've always kind of prided myself on being able to do something like this, even if it suspends reality for a little bit for Santa Orc. But the true artistry of it is when you actually can come up with an adventure that's made around the holiday that doesn't necessarily break the atmosphere of the game. So for instance, not to toot my own horn or anything, but a Strangely Gooey Holiday is the adventure I wrote for Gooey Cube, is absolutely set for a group to take their normal characters and go into a fun little scenario that has all the trappings of a holiday adventure, but they get to play their actual characters and react as their characters would, so they don't have to feel like they're doing something that doesn't matter, isn't important, and is just a brief interlude. It's actually a fun little adventure, I think. And some people have said it is. I like to believe them. But another thing that, just to, again, regale you, Christmas is a great time, don't get me wrong. I love having my family around me. And in gaming, I love having my little gaming family around me. The friends that I play with are another family of sorts. And we don't always see eye to eye, just like a family. And we sometimes get a little frustrated with each other. But that's kind of what family is. And we always keep coming back to the table and we keep playing. And for groups that I've had in the past that I no longer play with, it doesn't mean they're any less in my mind. And I still do wish and hold out some hope that someday we'll get to play again. But I'll be honest with you, the holiday that I love doing the most, Halloween is great, don't get me wrong, but I've often said that horror is the hardest thing to convey. So my holiday adventures have often been kind of lackluster, I'll admit. Including the ill-advised sidebar into doing a Ravenloft adventure in the middle of a campaign. It didn't work very well. But what I really love, what I embrace the challenge of, is St. Patrick's Day. Yes, I know. That's barely a holiday for many people, and that's fine. But I love leprechauns, and I love some of the trappings of Irish heritage and monsters, even though I have no Irish in me at all, that I know of. I'd be surprised. But I love adventures where you can open up a bit of the Feywild and let just fun Fey creatures in. And the challenge, of course, is sometimes you're playing in a game that doesn't seem to fit. For instance, we were playing Warhammer 40k Death Watch one time, and the St. Patrick's Day episode came up. The players were all wincing at what I was going to do to them. And their Space Marines got into a pitched battle with some Chaos Space Marines. And so, natural enemies, they were in a slugging match, and they were badly outnumbered and badly outgunned, and it wasn't looking very good for the group. But they were saved at the last minute by a few squads of diminutive Space Marines, standing about 5 feet tall in their little power armor, all bright green with a large gold shamrock emblazoned on them. And they used psyker powers and blasted their enemies away and saved them. And yes, the group found out that I had created the chapter, The Emperor's Lucky Charms. Still makes me giggle, I don't know. But I have fun doing little things like that. And some of those things get to be notorious. For instance, I have had players who bristled against Santa Orc. I don't know why. A free item here and there for a holiday isn't terrible, but a couple people haven't liked it. But my leprechauns are somewhat notorious because players have learned to be suspicious around me with wishes, because I do have a habit of cruelly twisting them, to the point where one time for a St. Patrick's Day episode, I had the big, strong barbarian of the group confronted by a wee, drunken leprechaun who kept advancing upon him aggressively, trying to get him to make a wish, to the point where the barbarian turned and ran screaming out of the tavern that they were drinking at. And the leprechaun kept bouncing after him, tripping over his own feet, going, "Oh, you captured me, now you got to give you a wish." Running commenced, then all of a sudden he turned a corner and tripped, and there was the leprechaun. "Oh, you got me! I gotta give you a wish! No! Oh my goodness! I can't believe I have to do it again." So yeah, that was fun, and I do enjoy the holidays, all sorts. But I do, of course, get the warmest feeling around this time, Christmas. And I have so many things to be thankful for, which I covered in my Thanksgiving videos, of course. But I really do want to express how much that I care for all of you. I'm glad that I'm part of the communities that I'm in, such high character people that I associate with. And I'm only too glad to remain a part of these groups and contribute as I can in my own little ways. And try to be there in some way for you. So if this video cheers you up, if you're feeling a little down, as some people are wont to do for the holidays, I'm only too glad to have been of service. And if nothing else, a reminder that I exist. So if you ever want to get together, collaborate, do something fun, I'm here for you, and I'm more than willing to offer up my services and ventures that you have yourselves. So, no, don't hesitate to call on me. Just a gift of myself that I make to all of you. Even if I can't be there in person and I can't afford to give you everything that you deserve, all for the good, I promise. So this video, I hope, helps that to some extent. And now, because he seems to be fairly popular, I thought I would close this out with a little freestanding carol selection from Bilious Bogrot. This is going to be taken from a fun little resource that I've had lying around, which is comes from 9th level games, and this is taken from Kobold Ate My Baby, a Very Kobold Xmas, which I think is very appropriate for Bilious to perform for you all. So I think just a few, and we will, well, carry it away, Bilious.
Hello everybody! wish you a Merry Kobold. We wish you a Merry Kobold. We wish you a Merry Kobold. Fat babies and beer.
Okay, ready?
Yes. Slay humans with a sharp axe. Knock 'em out with a dead rat. Or they'll get a fright. We'll sneak in at night. Sneaking in a sleepy human town. Gone away is the blue priest. Here to stay is a cave beast. He growls a war song as we hike along, stalking in a sleepy human town. In the houses we can kill the humans, then pretend that he was just the mayor. He'll cry, please don't eat me, really all no man. Then we'll have fun burning down the town. Later on we'll conspire, eat the town and set on fire. Roast the babies and spread some rabies, stalking in a sleepy human town. In their houses we can kill the humans and pretend that she's a Christmas dog. We'll have lots of fun with Mrs. Victim until the soldiers come, and then we're... Oh, stalking in a sleepy human town. Stalking in a sleepy human town. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay.
Now, you know Basher and Cancer and Rancid and Flixit, Nerf Dog and Sloopit and Donner and Schlitzen. But do you recall the most famous kobold of all? Vashland and Bale the kobolds, nasty right down to the bone. Any humans that saw them shivered as their blood just froze. All of the puny townsfolk used to scream and run away. They were afraid that Vash might try to eat their babies that day. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, gnomes they came to say, Vash and Bale itching to fight. Don't you wanna kill Santa tonight? Then how the townsfolk feared them as Slad barked a victory. Slad and Bale the kobolds, you go down in history. Thank you, everybody. Yay!
Well, I'm not sure how that's going to turn out, but Merry Christmas to all of you, and from Lair of OmnusI, myself, Rob the Dungeon Tutor, thanks and farewell.